Today's throwback, we're having a look at the NECA Toys Friday 13th Part 4, the final chapter, Jason Voorhees. Spots mentioned this in previous videos. I wanted to go back and have a look at some of my favorite figures and kind of just, give them a new coat of paint, kind of go back and re-examining the figures that I loved so much before. Could not really think of a better example of a throwback figure that I wanted to do than NECA Toys Friday 13th Part 4, Jason Voorhees. One of two reasons actually why. The first reason, and probably one of the more obvious ones that you guys have noticed with some of my older videos, especially Jason Voorhees here, for some reason when Spot originally was rendering these videos years ago, for some reason the video type that I used was accepted by YouTube, fair enough, easy peasy, but then later on, for some reason, started developing clicks. There's little audio clicks in the review itself. Not sure why. Wasn't there in the initial upload. Somehow developed clicks afterwards, and I do apologize for that. The second reason, though, is that Jason Voorhees, this Jason Voorhees, is actually one of my favorite figures of all time. No fooling. This is one of my favorite figures of all the figures I've collected over the years. I also have a soft spot as well when it comes to Jason Voorhees anyways, but NECA did such an incredible job on this figure as well as the battle damaged version of Jason that I definitely wanted to go back and look at it a second time around. Also, this one hopefully will not have any clicking. At any rate, this figure is not considerably old. It's a few years old, but it's beyond the stretch of the Cult Classics banner that NECA was releasing at one point. So because of that, you also get some super posability. Well, not so much, but at least you also have posability in Jason's legs, whereas a lot of the Cult Classics back in the day would not have had articulation in the knees. Possibly the knees, no articulation in the waist though. Generally, really, from the waist down, it was always usually staction. So it's cool that when they released this particular figure, they released him around the time that they were giving their figures the new posability in the knees, the legs, the ankles and elbows. Very, very cool. First things first, let's have a look at some of the accessories that Jason would have come with, and I'm assuming these all come with this particular Jason. As again, I've packed these away, but he comes with a double bladed axe. Nice metallic paint on the axe blade itself. A little bit of weathering and aging to the handle itself as well. It's also a nice touch. And of course, Jason could not be Jason without his machete, which, unlike the axe, is a little darker in color, almost more on par with a gunmetal silver, as opposed to a lighter metallic silver. They went as far as to put little rivets in the handle of the blade as well. The battle damage Jason, which we will be looking at also, came with the same machete, just covered in blood. As for the figure itself, there's not really any negatives that I can make about the figure. I don't even think at the time I did the initial review of him, I had any negatives to say about this. This is really, my personal opinion at least, it's probably one of the best, if not the best, Jason figure ever released. Couple things to point out with the figure itself. Well, let's start with his face, or at least the mask end of it. The Part 3 Jason, which I hope to get around to re-reviewing also, had a decent enough mask, although it didn't look like it was finished properly. Like the eye holes, I think, just didn't gel so well. But the mask on the Part 4 Jason turned out very, very good. No complaints at all with Jason here. The body is using the rubber torso, which again has carried over with a lot of their newer figures as well. And it's got that olive green colored shirt that Jason is known for. Also the khaki pants with little wrinkles and creases in there. That's nice, also nice touch. And the brown shoes. Other things to note are the very long fingernails on Jason's hands. Can't really see it so much on this hand because he's got the closed fist, but this hand with the open hand, you can see probably a little bit better than you would, on the other one there. The hands are dirtier, a little dirtier than the surprisingly, than the forearms areas, but that's okay. I can willing to overlook that. So obviously, as this goes, Jason would have a removable mask. That's what it looks like on the back there. But to remove it, I don't have to, I'm sure, tell you this, but some caution be made as these straps over time, you know, because this is just a plastic strap. Just take off the mask like that. And there you've got Jason's very gruesome, very cool face underneath. A couple of the gashes still present, one from the axe. I guess not really one from the machete just yet, but the face is quite nice. I always had a fond fascination with the Part 4 face, although I do like Part 3's face, but that Part 4 face just had a real kind of ogre look to it that I really, really liked. And he also had kind of like the frosted over eyes too. He just really, overall, was a really solid prosthetic, I think, for Part 4. I would not be inclined to likely display Jason here unmasked. I might probably do that for the battle damaged version of Jason, which we will be looking at in a separate video. This particular one, I will likely keep it more so with the mask, and there's a better close-up look at the mask itself. And so for that reason, I think I'll likely put it in. Now, I just wanted to see, the axe potentially does kind of wedge itself in there, but I mean, you wouldn't be displaying Jason with that anyways. Let's go ahead and put the mask back on him. And again, for this particular Jason, there's certain Jasons, which I think I mentioned in the video, even like Part 3, the one of the Jasons, I would likely, the battle damage Jason, I probably would have the mask kind of sitting above his head, kind of just almost when he's pulling himself from the noose that he, you know, was hanging from the barn. I probably would have Jason also with that kind of the mask slightly up. This Jason would likely keep him displayed just with the mask down, and then the Part 4 damage Jason, I would likely probably keep the mask completely off, as again, that would be near the end of the movie. When it comes to Jason's posability, this is again where the figure really just ends up being such a cool figure because super detailed, but also super posable as well. Jason's head is on a ball joint, so it moves up and down very easily, left and right. The shoulders hinge out, and so far, knock on wood, no issues at all with the arms. They move forward and back. He has a hinge in the elbow, which also rotates at the forearm. He has a ball joint in the hand section here. And when it comes to his torso, he kind of has a crunch, and it's not hindered too much by this being a rubber piece, but it's still a little tighter to access. He has a waist swivel as well. And then when it comes to his legs go forward and back out. He has a bend at the knee, which also slightly rotates the lower leg. And finally, he has a ball joint in the foot itself. As you could probably guess it, this Jason is rather expensive. Or at least with a lot of the NECA pieces. The Nightmare on Elm Streets, as well as the Friday the 13th, all have skyrocketed when it comes to aftermarket. To get this guy sealed, brand new, never opened, you probably would find them on eBay for anywhere from $60 to possibly $80. So one of those things that if you were lucky enough to pick him up initially, you would have probably only paid about $10 to $15 for him. Is he worth it? Absolutely. I don't know if I would say pick him up at $80, mind you, but it's a shame that figures like this do so well in aftermarket. Hopefully NECA sees potential and wants to give us, the remaining Jasons from all the movies. I know, truthfully, we did get the Pamela Voorhees from the original 2-pack, and then we also got a Part 2 Sack Jason, that came with the memorial, base that had Pamela Voorhees' head. But I really would like to see them go back and, give us more of these kind of figures from the very, very beginning. Pamela Voorhees, Sack Jason. We have Part 3. We have Part 4 that you see right now. and give us, things like Part 5. Part 6 we're supposed to still be getting, and he might already be out at the time that this video is getting uploaded. But, Part 6, the Ultimate Jason, I want to be getting him as well. And then we have 7, 8, 9, and then we have 10. Uber Jason from Jason X as well, and, so on and so forth. Hopefully, NECA sees the potential in this for all the figures that we've gotten from Predators and Aliens. I know there's more retooling when it comes to Jasons because not all the Jasons look the same in the movies, that they can't really reuse components. But I would love to see NECA kind of go back and, just finish the line. All the Freddys, I know they don't technically change too much other than torsos, but I'd love to see more Jasons. NECA, make that happen. In the meantime, today's throwback, we're having a look at one of Spot's favorite figures of all time. We're looking today at the Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter, Jason Voorhees. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more throwbacks and other videos heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.